We're going on to Bayern, who won 4-1 at Cologne. See their team last night? 14 consecutive wins in all comps. Flying. Strong team, strong bench.
Yeah, to be fair, the German Cup is equivalent to the FA Cup, not the League Cup, so that people actually try and want to win this.
Semantics. Still pick the strong side.
Of course, because they're playing another Bundesliga team, and they need to do well. They care about this. Harry Kane, by the way, 20 goals in 14 games, and this 14% wins breaks Milan's record from 92-93. It's a record for Big Five wins to start the season.
Luis Enrique rotates too, Gab, but he does it in Ligue 1. 5 regulars rested, and PSG go beyond a 1-1 draw to Lorient.
Yeah, on top of that, Desiree Doué gets injured as well. Hey, how about that? Picking up injuries. I get to lead the game on crutches. I think we're going to get an update soon. Paris Saint-Germain, not good. I mean, they had enough to win this game, sure. They didn't even have their first shot until 37 minutes into it. Good news, as we'll see later, is Marseille also lose, so they're still top. Also drop points. They drew 2-2, so they're still top of the table. Napoli win away at Lecce 1-0 as Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa scores and wonder kid Francesco Camarda misses a penalty for Lecce. Don, how did Napoli look?
A bit average, but it's one of those games, Gab, where if you do win the league, you'll never remember the Lecce 1-0 win. They were average in the game. Camarda, the 17-year-old for Lecce, stepped up at 0-0 to take a penalty. It was never a penalty in a million years. Juan Jesus got found guilty.
Why was he taking the penalty when they had
it's a good question.
Penalty taker?
It's a good question. I think Di Francesco probably thought the story's there for a 17-year-old who led the line. Great story if he takes down one of the big guns in Napoli. Personally, I would have went with experience. But in terms of how Napoli looked, okay, they have to go to the bench for Spinazzola, McTominay and Højlund to go and win the game. But as I said, just churned out a 1-0 win.
Nolan Lang got a start, finally.
Mm-hmm. Inter bounce back with a 3-0 win over Fiorentina. Peter Sušić scores a worldy goal, and Kivu gets a response he wanted, Gab.
Yeah, he did. I didn't think they were anywhere near as bad against Napoli, although they put their foot off the gas and ended up losing. But this was pretty comprehensive over Fiorentina. Some wobbles maybe a little bit in the second half.
Struggling Pioli, isn't he?
He's having a horrendous start to the season. Results worse than performances, again, in my view. But Sušić, they really need this because obviously they need alternatives with energy in midfield. They have a deep team. Esposito, I thought, did well again in getting the start. And they're right up there.
Gasparini's men are keeping pace with Napoli at the top of the air, Sab. Are we underestimating them? Be amazing if Gasparini won the league for Roma.
It's pretty ironic here because, of course, they won 2-1 but against Parma. But Artem Dovbyk, who apparently, he likes as much as he likes venereal disease.
Scored a good goal.
Yeah, he was decisive, comes off the bench, and only came on at the end. He started with Ewan Ferguson, of course, who goes off injured early. Got a big name game from Paulo Dybala. Again, I don't know how long this Dybala stuff is going to last because you never know with that guy. But onwards and upwards, I think based on a lot of metrics, Roma should be doing even better than they're doing. So we'll see if that comes to bear.
Is that Shaka Hislop metrics? What sort of metrics are these?
I just expected goals, shots, possession in the final third, that kind of stuff. Stuff you love.
Back to Serie A, Atalanta and Milan battle to a 1-1 draw as Leao has a hip problem, adding to the long injury list.
Yeah, he had to come off. Santi Jimenez is getting absolutely destroyed by the media because he's not scoring, although he's falling over. Again, this is vintage Allegri. People are saying, but a point away to Atalanta is good. Atalanta have drawn, I think, 4 home games in a row. They're not great shakes. Expected goals, 1.34 to 0.36 to Atalanta. Atalanta, I think, had the upper hand in this. I think they missed not having a proper center forward, Lukman de Ketelare. Not quite the same thing up front, but yeah, Milan, you need to work on things. And I hope Max is realizing this because this is not good.
No.
And yeah, and injuries are a mitigating factor, but
got loads of them.
You expect more.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say this, but Martin O'Neill is back at Celtic as they beat Falkirk 4-0. And Don, there's a ton of bad blood between Brendan Rodgers, who was let go, and Dermot Desmond, the club's majority shareholder.
As we sit here now, Gab, can you tell me what year it is? Because I feel as though we're in a time warp and we've gone back to the 1990s. We're going long ball, we're going long throw-ins, we're going fights and scraps in El Clasico, and Martin O'Neill's back at Celtic. What year is it?
So O'Neill said, I'm only here interim. I could be here 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I could be here, whatever. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I was just shocked by this Dermot Desmond, Brendan Rodgers.
Well,
thing.
he's obviously got a lot on Brendan Rodgers to come out and make that statement. It was pretty two-footed.
Brendan Rodgers there are a lot of people who don't like him, and not just in the red half of Liverpool. But I don't think there's any arguing with the fact that he's a good coach.
He called his players Honda Civics, Brendan Rodgers. That's not going to go down well in the dressing room when you get called a Honda Civic. I can tell you that. Big win for Dortmund in the German Cup as they knock out Eintracht Frankfurt on penalties, Gab. You've been praising Niko Kovac.
I have, and they weren't terrible in this game, but they got, I think, pretty lucky because Julian Brandt scored the equalizer. It looked to me offside, no VAR. And so they end up bringing it home on penalties for Eintracht. Well, at least they didn't ship 4, 5, 6 goals like they have been doing recently. So onwards and upwards.